There's been like a lot of Spider-Man games back in my day. I remember when I was a kid, I had a PS2. It was actually my first console that I actually had. And the first game I had it was Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire one. So, yes, I became addicted until I switched to the 360, and I cared less about that until the Amazing Spider-Man came. This game is the greatest game out of all Spider-Man games that I ever played. I'm talking about just the ones in the early 2000s. I'm not going to talk about the old games because that has good nostalgia in every core mechanic on that, but I don't want to make a versus video, or I don't want to make a debate. It's just my opinion, so let's get on. So, The Amazing Spider-Man, it basically took what the movie gave us, but it turned it into a different direction. And I love that very, very much in all games, because let's say in a game or a movie, it has a plot and it has its own little turn. And if they make a continuation of the first one, they have a different plot, but how they execute it in a different way, it's so good. So an Amazing Spider-Man film, long story short, it's like the whole lizard concept thing with Dr. Connors. Peter restores the whole city, yada yada yada. But in Amazing Spider-Man though, this was after the events of the lizard, which is very, very good. They took this step into a different direction. Well, it's not the lizard this time. Who is it? It's Dr. Smythe, which is a different bad guy. I don't know if he's new or old. I don't know, but it's just what I know of. But he creates these bots to target people with special abilities, just as Spider-Man, with that cross genetics. Crosses species genetics, that's what it is. Yeah, they targeted people just like Peter Parker or Spider-Man, if that's sort of sorts. But at the end, I'm just gonna save you guys the bit of this part, but whole twist is Smythe was corrupted because he got infected, but now it works on him now. His leg is crippled. Kurtz helped Spider-Man out because Kurtz was in prison because of the whole lizard situation. He busts him out, helps him. Along the way, you destroy a good couple of cross-species bots. You got a floating one, and you get to fight a giant snake one. I think that's what it's called. It's pretty ridiculous, but yeah, you get to fight like a giant robot snake. But you guys gotta play the game just to see all that. I'm not gonna try to find it because I got rid of it because I was a stupid idiot who thought trading stuff in GameStop was useful. So yeah, lesson learned. So, at the end, you get the help from Dr. Connors, who turns into the lizard. Then, he takes partly control of the lizard until the lizard controls over him. Same thing as before, you just inject the serum, and he's back to the way it was. And Dr. Smythe, the guy who basically destroyed the city with its cross-species genetic spots, he just got arrested. And I kind of enjoyed that because I just like how they just took what the movie had, but they took it in a different direction. I like that they innovated in a bit because they still continue after the whole lizard incident, but they added in a new plot of the story where you have a different protagonist, and that's good. I didn't like the whole, now we're just done talking about it, so let's just now talk about the one I hate the most. It's just Amazing Spider-Man 2. So it was continuation of Amazing Spider-Man, but they added in more story. But I kind of hate how the whole animations are compared to the original because it looks so freaking clean. As you guys just gotta watch just to understand why. But the whole story and narrative they took on this one was so poor. I feel like they had more options. They just stuck with the original. So yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2, you have the Green Goblin, which is also in the second film, the Electro, which is also in the second film, and the only new person you get to fight there is the Kingpin, and I think Carnage and Kraven too. Those are the only 3 characters that's not from the movie base that you get to fight off of. But I kinda wanted I kind of wanted them to take the other two characters out, which is Electro and Green Goblin. Maybe like they can just show like a pastime of him defeating Goblin or whatever, but I just don't like how they just added in there, because you know they're not relevant to the whole story, because the whole story is just you and Cletus Cassidy, which is Carnage, which is just so dumb. If the ending is just gonna be about you defeating the boss and he's like the main boss out of anything, they just make the boss him. Just make it simple, but make the direction more different, more a different turn. And that's what's in this. It should have taken out Electro as well, because he is a good character, but I feel like it's just like it could be someone else, but I feel like they should have made it in a different way. What I think they should have done is made the Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2 as the opening of the game, and it cuts off to, you know, like something. I feel like if they just take something of the core mechanics of the movies and added it into the game, but made it more different, innovated a little bit, it would have been perfectly fine. But I don't want to get too much details on that. This is just like a brief summary of it, but I will get into that video pretty soon. But yeah, I kind of like Amazing Spider-Man. It's still like the best game I have towards this day. The whole not progressive system, the whole story of how you go through all of this stuff, not only through Spider-Man but also Peter Parker, but he's still Spider-Man, so that's kind of irrelevant in a way, but I still count that as that, because you got all these people from Peter Parker's life coming in, which is just only Gwen Stacy, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, I feel like they could have added a little bit more stuff into Amazing Spider-Man, but it is still a great game though. How the opening is, and how the ending is, and how the good chunk of the whole middle was. It's basically perfect. I would consider that as the most perfect game. But now we got the new Spider-Man game coming out for Sony. I hope that one has its own little story and not following the other stories from like the comics and TV shows and movies. That's all I want. They don't need to do that. They can just make their own story and make people after that have comics about that game. That could be pretty cool. But it's up to the writers or developers to do that, to make a different story for Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But that's that's on them. And I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you have your thoughts about Amazing Spider-Man, or why you think it's awesome, or why do you think other games of Spider-Man is awesome, please so do leave it down in the comments. And can we get a thumbs up? Let's try to hit for 5 likes, because you know, rip Xbox, because that game, the new Spider-Man game, is just only for PS4. So rip us Xbox guys. So yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful day. My name is Goes 239 signing out. Peace.